out through the paratroopers in Arizona highways. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That's my daddy too, you know. But then you keep coming back and telling me I'm less than an American because I don't, and I've already whipped everybody 3 times. I don't have any problems with anybody. You got me on PC, won't accept my word. I was Judge Older. He was Charles Manson. I'm Judge Older. I'm Tiger Man in the zoo in San Diego. I ride a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle in L.A. A bunch of straight Satans call themselves devils, say they're get down, say they got the money over on another edge of town. They got the Beach Boys tied up in their contracts. You can't get into the real estate because Pasadena is a submarine that's run by Jody Hoover, who's over in the chapel, who comes from Colombia with the drug cartel, saying he got money with 2 guns and he taking that pussy. I blew him to hell. It's that simple. Linda Bell, ding along, sing along. Mitch Miller, the movies. I'm Bing Crosby, hard as a hobo, loves the Roman fields of clover. I'm Gene Autry. I'm all those guys. I'm another children. I'm down a wave or 2 up underneath you. What you're doing, you're over flying with the eagles and the fathers of great lands, but I'm king on other wings and baddest motherfucker that ever did live. I'm terrible. Adolf Hitler was a little biology girl in the class over there at the University of Southern California. That's where the big eagles fly. And I know Fort MacArthur. I know Fort MacArthur. Chain of command. I understand.
Are you responsible for these murders?
I'm responsible for life itself. If God were to wink one Greek Apollo through the sky, and those satellites, I've been watching them ever since Terminal Island, in the diamond mines of, what's his name, Jomo Kenyatta, Mauma, remember him? I was in prison with him.
Are you responsible for the murders?
I'm responsible for Scotch
whiskey. Hearing by Dr. William O. Evans, senior psychologist, and Mr. Manson, I'm not going to read all of it, I'm only going to read parts of it.
Yeah.
Under mental status at the
But
time.
this will go in history books, right?
Well, I don't know.
Chapter, how much?
I don't know. It's under the mental status at the time of the examination. It said that you displayed no psychotic criteria, no thought disorder or affective disturbance. You were alert, cooperative, and oriented. He was appropriately groomed and dressed. He calculated well with the examiner since he considers that he was treated fairly, and on one occasion his complaints concerning treatment at the hands of certain custody personnel were concluded to his satisfaction. He expressed gratitude accordingly. As usual, inmate Manson spoke in metaphor and allegory, and on occasion had to be reminded to be more linear and concrete. He has a clinical history of exercising control, manipulation, and power over his associates and followers, fueled by narcissistic rage for real or imagined slights and disrespect taken literally by his followers as license and license to kill. He reported no current psychiatric complaints. His primary complaint was that his guitar, which was given him by a journalist in return for granting him an interview, had been taken away from him 2 years ago. He reveals sexist and racist views and regularly rails against the system for abuses to the disenfranchised and the environment. Previously, he reported to his counselor that he had been upset because he recommended placement in the Category K program at CMF. This examiner feels that currently Category K placement is not appropriate. Inmate Manson has exhibited considerable intelligence by concerning himself with the abstract and being very aware of just noticeable differences in others, and has demonstrated a variety of manipulation and control upon others using powerful reinforcements of sex, drugs, passive-aggressive rewards and punishments, and a community setting with communal economics and lifestyle. He goes on to say that he exhibits some signs of severity, moderate due to incarceration and the impending hearing, and you're given a current GAF score of 75, and your highest GAF score in the past year was 75. Under progress and prognosis, it says his progress is not necessarily remarkable, apart from a normal maturation with age. His prognosis not good since his disciplinary history since the board hearing 5 years ago speaks for itself. He appears resigned to the present condition and position, and at his last departing comment to this examiner was, "This is a better life than an old folks' home." Under conclusions and recommendations, inmate Manson is competent and responsible for his own behavior. He has a capacity to abide by institutional standards. There's no current evidence that suggests psychopathology. His violence potential is still considered greater than average, as a discussion concerning the LaBianca murder will attest. This examiner is not suggesting the board to get into this due to time restraints. Since inmate Manson practices manipulation, power, and control over his followers, he is still considered to be a dangerous man, especially if he were to partake of illicit drug abuse. He has not yet begun to contemplate underlying causes of his current attitude, other than to see himself as a victim of this system. He has some considerable artistic ability, and he should be encouraged to continue such controlled outlets for this expression. This examiner has seen noticeable improvement in his verbal ability in a one-to-one setting. His physical and medical needs seem to be well taken care of. The examiner read his medical file with interest. He is maintaining as well as can be expected under the circumstances. And the doctor notes that programming decisions can be based on custody issues rather than mental health factors. And having read portions of that psychiatric report, Mr. Manson, I'll
I
return
like
it to
that
the
last,
chair.
those last two lines, would you say those again?
Well, he said your programming decision should be based on custody issues rather than mental health factors. And I'll return it to the chair, Mr. Manson.
Yeah. That's, whoever did that did a really good job, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real nice report.
Did you want to comment on it, Mr. Manson?
Yeah, I thought the guy, he had a lot of good things down there, pretty much. Yeah, I'm a lot of those things. He's making me look a little better than I really am, but yeah, you know, whatever it takes is where I have to roll. I ain't got no choice about it. If I had a choice and you guys open up the gates of wherever, you know, I'd get on down the road and you could have this Charlie Manson thing that they created, because they haven't even seen me. Not really. They've seen all them faces that we play. You know, they don't want to see me, actually.
All right. Mr. Van Court will talk to you about your parole plans.
Yes, sir. Mr. Manson, what are your parole plans? Do you have any parole plans?
Oh, well, I thought about that, and I knew that would be a question, and I wrote that down in one of my little books. Let me see if I can gather these thoughts properly. Say it once more.
Yeah. Do you have any parole plans at all, Mr.
Do I
Manson?
have any parole plans? Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you. Are you in prison? I'm here doing a job for God and country.
I see.
The United States Supreme Court gave me my life back, took away the death penalty, said it was cruel and unusual punishment. I agreed with them, and I've been serving it ever since, because they gave me my life, so I give it right to them. It's their life too, you know.